Good morning.
Good morning, my friends. Today is indeed a good day. I can love you and be your friend, even if we think differently, believe differently, act differently, look different, or come from different places in life. You are welcome here. With that in mind, let's get our day started together. Let's slow down together each morning to contemplate valuable precepts and how we might apply these in our thoughts, words, and actions today, and how they might grow into practices, habits, and even ways of life, so that our life's example is rooted firmly in core values that are a benefit to ourselves and to all around us. Well, it is a wonderful, fantastic Friday. The weather here in South Carolina is, honestly, it feels like May. It's nice and warm. It's crazy that other parts of the country are experiencing snowstorms. So wherever you are, I hope that you get to enjoy the weather and the day, and that you're getting ready for a good weekend ahead. This morning, we're taking the time to consider hospitality. Now, when I say hospitality, I'm not talking about a business vertical. So I'm not just talking about food, drinks, travel, leisure, entertainment, lodging, meetings and events. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about hospitality from the perspective that we're building relationships with those around us. We're building relationships with those guests, visitors, strangers, co-workers, everyone that we interact with. And we're doing that through how we receive them and how we treat them. Now, they say that the golden rule of hospitality is do unto others as you believe they would want done unto them. So this is even a step removed. If we said, do unto others as you would like them to do to you, well, we may be able to say, well, I wouldn't expect this of someone else to do this for me, or there are a lot of ways that we can limit, our hospitality that we're extending to someone. But when we say, do unto others as you believe they would want done to them, well, that causes us to have to step beyond what I think is a reasonable expectation of myself. Or it throws reasonable out the window, right? It throws self-interest and self-protection sort of out the window. It forces us to put our mindset in an empathy that considers their wants and their needs and what they might want, what might benefit them. It changes that center of the world from being ourselves and our desires and our wants and our goals and our drives to say, I want to be focused on you being the center, right? So that golden rule of hospitality, obviously there are limits. Otherwise, that type of approach could enable very bad behavior. The thing is, with hospitality, if you go to Vegas, which I would say is one of the centers of hospitality, Vegas does enable some bad behaviors. I think we would all acknowledge that on some level, right? It indulges. So there is a little bit of a rub there, right? But the perspective of hospitality, of getting past ourselves and centering on them. I wanted to look at what the hospitality industry looks at. Because if we're going to talk about the core value of hospitality, even though we're not talking about being in that industry, we're talking about this being part of our day-to-day lives and part of our values. It probably helps to know what that industry that does that every day and excels at it focuses on. So these are the top traits that those in the hospitality industry are looking for in their not just their front line, but their managers and sort of the perspective. They're looking for people who are empathetic, who can shift that focus from self and self-interest to considering the perspective of the others, of them, right? Listening. I love that they put listening second and not third in this list. Listening to others is a valuable skill. It's something that we need. Here I am, I'm speaking, but I'm also seeking to listen. I'm opening the door for conversation. I get excited when someone replies and interacts, and so we want to listen. Sometimes it's a challenge for me to listen because I like the third one a little bit too much. Oral communication. Clear communication. Being clear and precise in what you're communicating. I am constantly working on this, trying to remove all the ums and the uhs and the distractions and get to the point in what I'm producing. Energetic and resourceful. Am I trudging through my day with my head down and grumbly? Or do I believe in what I'm doing? And I am seeking to, yesterday in a meeting with a vendor, someone said, churn statistically for them comes from the quiet quitters. Churn for them, they lose customers that don't care. They lose customers that are quiet, that they don't hear from. Not the ones that are energetic, resourceful, trying to move things forward. And that spoke to me. It's something to pay attention to. If I'm energetic and I'm resourceful, I'm engaged. I'm involved. There's a level of ownership. Sense of humor. Sometimes in the hardest and most difficult times, the sense of humor and being able to step back and say, what is the real impact of this at the end of the day? Am I setting my expectations too high and not considering and stepping back? Now, the local knowledge, all of these things are helpful to being hospitable, right? Being flexible and patient, allowing for others' faults, multitasking, doing the ability to have multiple things on your plate and keep them all spinning, and then being calm and composed. These are all the things that people in hospitality industry look for. Well, if we're looking to be hospitable with the people that we work with the people that we encounter, with strangers, with people that come to our homes, then these are things that are helpful for us to be mindful of. I'll admit I am not great at this. This is a difficult core value for me. It's not as natural as some of the others for me. So then I say, we looked at the industry. How can I personally show hospitality? Well, we can welcome the people we meet each day. There's a 10-5 rule. When you encounter someone and they're within 10 feet of you, it's best to make eye contact when someone comes within 10 feet of you. If someone comes within 5 feet of you, it's best to greet people verbally. Now, this has its place. I say this works great in business. This works great in your home. This works great in your safer spaces. I'm not saying you need to do this with everyone you encounter on the bus or the subway. That might cause you some challenges. But the practice, right? Know your audience. And I would say that we could each benefit from doing these, especially in our workplaces. For me, make others feel important. Learn and call people by name. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know why I have a mental block in this area. I want to get better at this. I am not good at people's names. I don't know if I'm so self-centered that I just don't care enough about other people to remember their names. I'm just being honest. I don't know why. I hope that's not the root cause of it. But I do try, and I've even tried to come up with little tricks, and I still struggle with this. So this is key for me, if for no one else, this morning. Prepare an inviting environment. Whether that is starting a Teams or Zoom meeting and creating a nice, inviting, open introduction to your meeting, or whether that is when people enter your space, that inviting environment can cut through a lot of the tension and anxiety of just being around others. Share what I have freely. And this is not just my stuff. This is my time, my attention. We talked about yesterday generosity. Being generous and sharing what I have freely. And then do not expect anything in return. Hospitality isn't about a trade. Yes, there will be a trade at some level, but it's not the in return part is not part of the equation while you're being hospitable. You're being hospitable for the sake of being hospitable, knowing that in the end it will benefit you. It is a long-term strategy, not a short-term strategy. No one's going to pay you more money because you're making eye contact and you're greeting people verbally or calling people by name or doing those things. You're not going to do that for a quarter and get a check mark on your performance review and get a raise from doing these things. But when I am hospitable, I build a community around me. And that support community is more valuable than a lot of the things that we might get from a quarterly review. So for me, like I said, this one is a challenge. I don't always open up my meetings in a way that is inviting and that is recognizing people by their names. And I don't always make that eye contact and greet people verbally. I'm a little better at sharing what I have freely and not expecting anything in return. But those points I need some improvement in. So that is what I'm going to chew on. That's what I'm going to try and live out differently today. I'm going to try and decide little changes that I can put in place, little easily, things that I can accomplish easily, right? And if I can start doing those little steps, I'm making a little bit of progress. Then once those become habits in my life and they're just part of my life actions, then I can choose another little step of improvement. It's not going to change overnight. You're not going to go, like for me, I would score myself at maybe a 20% on hospitality. I have a failing grade in hospitality right now. I'm not going to, by next week, be an A-plus student with 100 on my paper. But you know what? I might be able to get to 30. And then in a 5-year span, maybe I get to an 80. It does take focus. This is why I study these things. I don't pick ones that I'm great in so that I can just say, oh yeah, I'm doing this great. Do like me. No, these are things I need to grow and learn. So if you share that same perspective, reach out to me. We can talk, we can hang out. You can help me. Maybe you have some tricks that you know that have helped you in these areas. I want to listen. I want to see it from this perspective that you found, so that maybe I can learn from you and maybe I can be better in this area. Thank you guys. I love you. Hope you have a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.